Hello, I'm Richard. I'd like now to talk about a very important topic. I travel around the world with my beloved Sian, and we meet many wonderful, well-meaning people who are light workers. Now let's define a light worker. Who's a light worker? A light worker is a person who has dedicated their life to serving humanity and the planet to bring light into darkness. They believe that there's much more to life than what we see on this planet, and for them, the ascension of humanity and Mother Gaia is what's important. And so they dedicate their life to serving people and the planet. The issue with light workers is that just about every single one of them we meet, and we meet lots and lots of them, they are in lack. They are not in spiritual abundance. And you have to ask the question, why not? I mean, surely if someone is doing light work, who's doing work of source, who's doing good, should be blessed. However, the reality of life is the opposite. Why is that so? And what about abundance for light workers? Can it happen? Should it happen? Why is it not happening? What does it take for it to happen? Well, let's look at the opposite of abundance, which many people find themselves. And it's a struggle daily to meet the needs of the world, like to have enough money for food on the table, to pay for the rent, to put the kids through school, to pay for the mortgage, etc. So when you look at abundance, which is experienced by very few light workers. Why? The top three reasons are this. The first one is the programming and the control of the matrix. And so the world is being run by forces that are not of the higher good of people and humanity. And so light workers are caught up in that as well. And so when you look at the issue of money, most people are struggling. So light workers fall in that same category. There is also a belief that you cannot be spiritual and wealthy. And that seems to pervade many cultures. And so there's a sense of self-sacrifice, meaning that people have to do without to be, inverted commas, spiritual. The second reason is spiritual karma from past lives. Because for light workers to be fully in their flow of abundance and the work, they really have to get rid of all the past karma and what they're still carrying in this life. And so repeating patterns of what's going on in life are an indication of something still sitting there that needs work. The third reason of lack is the polarity of love. And why is that important? Because you see, if you don't experience the opposite of what you desire, you will never know it. So for example, if you were in the light all the time and you never experienced the dark, you will not appreciate the light. If you've never experienced poverty or lack, you'll never experience wealth and you'll never appreciate wealth and abundance. So it's about understanding that polarity. And when you actually experience the polarity and you come back into the opposite, which is abundance, then it is far more appreciated, it is far more real, it is far more present. The depth and intensity of that is magnified. So that's number three. Now when you look at the word lack, what does lack mean? If you look at the acronym of lack, it's LACK, love allowing confusion in your knowledge. So the two parts, love allowing. And so whatever's happening is something that the divine is allowing to happen. What's going on? CK, confusion in your knowledge. Because if there was no confusion in your knowledge, then you wouldn't be in a position of lack. So at some level, somewhere, there is confusion in knowledge. And usually, it'll be in more than just one place. So, with the confusion knowledge, where is it? It's usually found in the three big limiting beliefs that just about everybody has. And here are the three big ones. I'm no good. I'm unworthy. I'm a failure. They're the three big limiting beliefs that just about everyone carries energetically in their DNA, in their psyche. And it's usually at the unconscious and subconscious level where it's not present to the individual. And where do these come from? They come from these three areas, the three unconscious anchors. The first one is the family of origin. And this happens in terms of growing up. And it's not about blaming your parents because they did the best they knew how. However, any limiting beliefs, any attitudes that have been passed on by your parents get picked up by you. But also bear in mind that whatever negative beliefs that your parents have, which they passed on to you, were received by them from their parents. So, if your parents passed negative beliefs to you, your grandparents passed them to your parents in the parenting. So this cycle perpetuates itself. The second area is in past lives. So somewhere in our past lives, we would have had situations happen to us which have imprinted a particular thread in terms of a negative belief system resulting from trauma. So that could happen in past lives that run as a thread into multiple lives. The third area is trauma of the spirit in terms of any dramatic event that's happened or agreements of entrapment with rituals, etc., and it results in embedded entities. Entities are forces that are not of you. And there's many of them around that are spiritual, that are energetic, that are very real, that can have holds on people. And it's about agreement of entrapment, permission and rights for them to be there. Removing that is a whole big series and thought. So here's just a simple snapshot of why light workers are in lack and not in abundance. The issue is this: if you continue to do the same thing, you'll get the same result. So if all your actions in life are based on limiting beliefs, confusion in knowledge, and these anchors are still in place, there will be no change to the issue of being in lack. And struggle, pain, suffering, frustration, all that will continue to go forward. And it's no use blaming source either for this, because the second law of the universe is cause and effect. Now let's look at the second piece on abundance for light workers. When you look at abundance for light workers, first thing is to understand why it's not happening, which is the lack. Now let's look at what's involved in allowing abundance. And note that it's about allowing it. You don't create it, you don't make it, you don't manifest it. You allow it to turn up. So how do you do that? Well, the first thing is to go back to the 5 elements. And this is part of shamanic rituals, it's part of ancient knowledge and history, and it's connecting back to all the elements like air, water, earth, sun, spirit. Where's the best place to get all that? The beach. At the beach, you get beautiful fresh air, good negative ions, ozone. You've got water, the sea, the salt water. You've got the earth, the sand. You've got the sun when the sun's shining. And spirit is the energy and the force of nature and everything around that underpins all the elements that you see. Spirit also is the divine essence of you connecting with the spirit of nature and the spirit of the universe. So that's the 5 elements. So spending time here is what's important and essential. Now, many light workers don't do that. But then there are also light workers that are out in nature all the time and are still stuck in lack. So this on its own doesn't fix and shift things, but it's an essential element and component. The second thing is the 5S, which is stillness, silence, solitude, sacred space. Now the first three, stillness, silence, solitude, many people do in meditation. And that's great. They miss out on the last two, which is sacred and space. Sacred is making it sanctified and holy. It's like a ritual that's dedicated. So there's a slight difference in energy, which becomes profound. And the space is about the environment, moving into the inner space of you, connecting to the space of the cosmos and the divine. So connecting all that is essential. So that's the 5S. Now, just because you meditate doesn't mean that things in your world are going to change. Because meditation today has been so confused as a result of different techniques, different systems, different expectations, different agendas, and so many organizations doing different things. Meditation should only be a simple process of going into your inner world, yourself, and for you to be able to connect within yourself and to be able to look inside. So the 5S helps you go down to that space. And then step 3 is to turn your passion into profit. We are living in amazing times today whereby the opportunities are immense. It is easier to create a global business than a local one. And to turn passion into profit, it's about you finding something you love to do and finding a nano niche, a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche, and the expression of that in an area that provides value to people that hasn't happened before. And when you're able to do it, make sure you're able to deliver it or do it online, because that's where it is. Then the next thing to do would be to look at increasing the value of your love offering. Because money, M-O-N-E-Y, is the material offering the world nominates as exchange with yourself. So if you want more money, increase the value of the exchange, which is your love offering. So what is your love offering? Your love offering is the value of what you bring to the table in terms of your skills, talents, and time. And it will require a creative look at that in conjunction with what you're doing at the moment. Then step 5 is to live in float. Now float is to fulfill love in oneness with awareness that's transcending. And this is the highest state to live in, whereby you're in total surrender and the wind of the Spirit carries you. So the 5 steps here are to jump off with both feet. Total trust and immersion. Number 2, have no baggage to weigh you down. Number 3, have no control. Take your hands off the steering wheel. Have no control of what's going on. Number 4, allow yourself to fly with the wind of the Spirit. And point 5 here, be open to all possibilities. So these are the steps in terms of allowing abundance to turn up in your life. People might say, well, it's all very well, sounds really good, but. So when you look at a whole series of buts, they're all the reasons why these things can't happen. It's easy to rationalize and make lots of excuses. Some of them might be valid because of the circumstances you are under. But the bottom line is this. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So if you don't make a change in something, don't expect your world to change. Then it's about looking at what is one small thing you can do that is manageable. Just do that as a start. And it can be as simple as just changing the way you breathe. Or every hour, taking 5 minutes to go out into the sunshine. That's all it could take to make a difference and a shift. And so going through this and having these principles become more part of your lifestyle is what opens the door of abundance to come in. When abundance comes in and you find that you are living in float, 1 year after another will see an expansive increase in your world in terms of the things that you do, the people that you meet, the money turning up in your life, the opportunities, the abundance, all that will be extraordinary. And I can testify after living this way for over 3 years now that it is just the most amazing experience one can have. I'm Richard.